Good morning, students. In the last class, we discussed about the thermodynamics. We discussed what is thermodynamics and how the thermodynamics is based upon the two laws of thermodynamics called the first law of thermodynamics and the second law of thermodynamics. We discussed about the system surrounding boundary, types of system, the open system, closed system and isolated system. Also, we discussed about the thermodynamic variables and thermodynamic properties, extensive property and intensive property. We discussed about the state of system, state function and path function. In the extensive and intensive properties, we found that those properties which are depending upon the quantity of substance present in the system are known as extensive properties, like enthalpy, internal energy, entropy, free energy, mass, volume. These are called your extensive properties. And these extensive properties can be expressed in the form of what? Delta U is equal to U2 minus U1 equal to integration of d of U, U1 to U2. Suppose internal energy. Similarly, enthalpy, entropy and free energy we discussed. If you consider about your entropy, you can write delta S is equal to S2 minus S1 equal to integration of d of S1 to S2. Okay. And intensive properties are those which are not depending upon the quantity of substance present in the system. Pressure, temperature, specific heat capacities, specific heat and molar properties, density are the intensive properties. When we are talking about your state function and path function, those properties which depends upon the initial and final state of the system are called the state functions. And those properties which depends upon how the state is attained, not only the initial and final state, but also how the state is attained, that are called what are the path functions. Like heat and work are the path functions. Okay. Now today we will discuss about the thermodynamic process. Thermodynamic process. Okay. Thermodynamic process. So, what is a process? A process is a set of operations through which a system changes from one state to the other state. Right? So, thermodynamic processes are the processes which involves a number of operations through which a particular system changes from one state to the other state, called initial state to a final state. And this thermodynamic process can be carried out at a constant temperature or at a constant volume, at a constant pressure, at a constant heat also. Accordingly, we have isothermal process, adiabatic process, isobaric process, isochoric process. So isothermal, adiabatic, isobaric and isochoric processes are the different kind of thermodynamic processes. The isothermal processes are those which proceeds at a constant temperature. Okay, that means here the change in temperature dT is equal to what? 0. Adiabatic processes are the processes where no heat can supplied to the system or no heat can come out from the system. That means the process carried out at a constant heat. That is what dq equal to 0. That means change in heat is 0. Similarly, isobaric processes are those thermodynamic processes which occurs at a constant pressure. That is your dp equal to 0. And isochoric processes are the processes which occurs at a constant volume. That means the change in volume during the process remains constant, dV is equal to 0. Okay. So here dT gives what the small change in temperature. If during a thermodynamic process the small change of temperature dT is 0, this is called isothermal. If dq equals 0, that means what? The heat change is 0, then your adiabatic process. If dP change in pressure is 0, then that is called isobaric process. And if dV is 0, that is your change in volume is 0, then it is called what? Isochoric process. Okay. Now, in addition to this different kind of thermodynamic processes, also we are having what? Reversible and irreversible process. Reversible and irreversible process. So what is a thermodynamic reversible process? A reversible process is a process which occurs infinitesimally slowly, so that the driving force is infinitesimally small as compared to the opposing force, and at any moment we can come down to the original state. Process changed state from one to the other, but this change is so slow, so small, infinitesimally small, so that at any moment we can again come back to the original state. Then that process is called what? A reversible process. And if a thermodynamic process is not occurring infinitesimally slowly, not so that we cannot come back to the original state at any point. Once the process starts, it will end at a time. At any moment, if you want, we cannot come back. That is called what? Irreversible process. Okay. So here, whenever a process is going on, we are having a driving force and an opposing force. If the driving force is infinitesimally small as compared to opposing force, then the process of opposition can take place and the process can come back to the original state again. That is called reversible. If the driving force is much more higher than the opposing force, And if you want at any moment, we cannot come back from the final to the initial. That is called what? The irreversible process. Okay. So basically, see, if I give one example, suppose you see the flow of water in a river. Once the water is flowing in a river, it is coming forward. The same water cannot go backward again to the reverse direction. The water will flow and it will reach at the sea. This is called what? The irreversible process. Because once the water flows in a river, that is going always forward, forward and forward. It cannot, the same water cannot come backward in a river. Okay, so this is what? This is a irreversible process. Okay, so in the real life, almost all processes are irreversible. Okay, those processes which are very slow, that are reversible, and those are not very slow, that are irreversible. Okay. Now, similarly, we have the spontaneous and non-spontaneous process. Spontaneous and non-spontaneous process. Spontaneous processes are those which starts once and the process continues. The process for which we have to work at once. Once you start the process by doing some work, then after the process is continuing. That is called what? Spontaneous process. If for a particular process, at each step we have to do the work for continuing the process, that is called what? Non-spontaneous process. See, if I give an example, see, suppose here is a hill, and someone want to climb the hill. So to climb the hill, the person have to work at each step. Suppose this is a step, this is a step, this is a step, this is a step, this is a step. So if the person want to reach here, he or she have to work to reach here. Once, see, the aim of the person is to reach from this place to this place. So once the person will work to reach at this step, then this process is over, but the process is not continuous. Again, he or she have to work to reach from this place to this place. Again, have to work to reach from this to this. Again, have to work to reach from this to this. That means, at each step, the person is doing work to climb the hill, and finally, will reach here. So, from this place to this place, by doing work at once, the process is not continuing. To reach from this to this place, the person have to work at each step. This is called what? Non-spontaneous process. And suppose here there is a river, water is there. Now the person wants to reach from this to this place. What he can do? He just make one jump and he will reach here. So to reach from this place to this place, he is only making one jump. That means he is doing the work at once only. So this is called what? Spontaneous. Called what, you know? Spontaneous. This is what, you know? Non-spontaneous. Okay. So those processes where the work is done at once only are called the spontaneous, like this one, and where we have to work at each step are called what? Non-spontaneous. This one here. Okay. Now thermodynamic equilibrium. Thermodynamic equilibrium. So what is thermodynamic equilibrium? A thermodynamic process is said to be in thermodynamic equilibrium if the process is at a thermal equilibrium, mechanical equilibrium, and in chemical equilibrium. So if a thermodynamic process is in thermal equilibrium, mechanical equilibrium and chemical equilibrium, then the system is said to be in thermodynamic equilibrium. So what is thermal equilibrium? If in a system no heat is flowing from one part of the system to the other part, then the system is said to be in thermal equilibrium. Similarly, mechanical equilibrium. If no work is done by one part of the system on the other part, that is called what? The system is in mechanical equilibrium. Then what is chemical equilibrium? If the composition of the reaction mixture during a chemical reaction, if the composition remains constant, if the concentration of the reactant and product are remaining constant, if there is no change in concentration, then the system will be said to be in chemical equilibrium. And when the system satisfies all these three, thermal equilibrium, mechanical equilibrium and chemical equilibrium, then the system is said to be in thermodynamic equilibrium. Okay, so regarding this chemical equilibrium, we will discuss in the coming chapters. Okay. Now next is your heat and work. You will read more in physics about the heat and work. Heat and work. See, whenever a system is changing from one state to the other state, that is accompanying with a change of heat, light or work or any change of energy. and this heat and work are interrelated to each other. Whenever a certain amount of heat is disappearing, then an equivalent amount of work may appear, may be done. Okay. So if H is the amount of heat lost and W is the work done, then you can write W equal what? JH. Where this is called what? The work done. This is what your heat. This is called what your Joule-Thomson coefficient. Okay. Now about this work. Now consider a system. If a certain work is done by the system on the surrounding, that means system will do some work, and for doing some work the system will need some heat. So the system has to lose some heat energy so that heat will convert into your work. So because the system is losing the heat, so the Q is negative, and also here the work done by the system by the loss of the Q amount of heat, so the W is also what? Negative. So work done by the system, W is negative, Q is negative, and if work is done on the system, let me see, heat supplied to the system and the work is done on the system, then W is positive and Q is also what? Positive. Work done on the system okay. So this is the sign convention we must remember. Okay, work done by the system, W negative, Q negative, work done on the system, W positive, Q positive. Okay. Now let us see work done by the system, by a system, or you can say work done, you can write the pressure volume work. In thermodynamic system, we will go for the pressure volume work. Okay. Let us say, suppose we are having a cylinder here, okay, and we are having the gas inside the cylinder, okay. Gas, this is what your cylinder. Let us say volume of the gas is your V. Volume what your Vm. Suppose here we are having a frictionless piston of area a square centimeter. Frictionless piston is there on the gas and that is having an area part a square centimeter, and this is the pressure P external, outside the pressure, okay, P external constant. And now let this gas pressure was what to the P internal, okay. Now let P external is less than the P internal. Let me see, this internal pressure of the gas is slightly more than the external pressure, okay. Now because this gas pressure, because the pressure of the gas inside the cylinder slightly more than the external pressure, and this piston is here frictionless piston, so what will happen, the internal pressure also will push the piston to go outward. So there may be a small change of the movement of the piston, okay. So this piston from this position will move to this position. Suppose this is what is the dl. Suppose dl is the displacement by the piston. So there is a small increase in the volume of the gas, okay. So let it, suppose this is your V1, now this V1 tends to what V2, okay. So piston moves a distance what dl, okay. Volume of gas changes from V1 to V2, okay. Let the pressure what P or the P external, okay. Okay, I am repeating again. This is the cylinder containing the gas having a pressure of P internal. To this gas cylinder, a frictionless piston is attached, okay, and let this is the external pressure P external constant, and this P external is slightly less than the P internal, okay. So because the internal pressure is slightly more, so it pushes the piston to go upward and let the piston moves a distance of dl, okay, by the pressure P internal, okay. And here the constant pressure is P external, and this piston moves against the external pressure P ext, or simple as P, okay. Now we know the change in volume dV. So V was the initial volume. Now due to the movement of the piston upward, there is a change in volume. Let it be dV. This is equal what? The area of the piston A into the distance moved dl, the length, area into length dl. So the change in volume dV equal what? A into dl. dV equal to A dl. Now we have P equal to F by A, therefore F equal what? PA. Now work done due to this movement of the piston. Work done, small work done, okay, small dW equal what? W equal Fs, F into dl. F is the force, okay, and dl is the distance. We know W equal to Fs, okay. So dW, the small change in small work done is equal to the force applied F into the small change in length dl. dW equal to F dl. This equal, but F equal what? PA. So PA dl. But A dl equal what here? dB. Therefore, dW equal to P dB. And here, because the internal pressure is slightly more than the external pressure, the piston moves upward. That means work is done by the system, so W is negative. Okay. So because work is done by the system, so dW equal what? Minus of PdV. Okay, that is what here V2 is what? More than V1. V2 is what? More than V1. It's V1 and V2. If work is done on the system, compression, which is called what? Compression. Then what? dW equal what? PdV. Here V2 is what? Less than V1. This is what? This is your expansion. Okay. So this is about what the pressure volume work. Okay. Now next we will see the isothermal reversible expansion of an ideal gas. Okay. Now let us see work done in reversible isothermal expansion of a gas. Okay. Work done in isothermal reversible expansion of a gas. Work done in isothermal reversible expansion of a gas. Already we discussed the work done in isothermal expansion. Okay. See, what is a reversible process? We also discussed reversible process are the processes where the driving force and the opposing force are nearly equal, or the opposing force and the driving force there is a infinitesimally small difference, so that at any moment the system can be come into equilibrium. Okay. So the change of the state, the change of any property is infinitesimally small. Okay. So at any moment we can come back to the original position. Okay. So already we discussed that dW equal to PdV minus PdV. Okay. So for reversible expansion we can write P external equal to P internal minus dP. So, if the gas expands against the external pressure, if this is called P external, already we derived this one. Okay. So, the gas expands reversibly and P external, your P external is smaller than the P internal. Because the process is reversible, that means the difference is infinitesimally small. So, we can write P external is equal to P internal minus dP, where dP the small difference of the pressure or small change of pressure. That means the external pressure is infinitesimally small or as compared to the internal pressure. Okay. So, what you can write now? Now, dW is equal to minus P internal minus dP dV. Okay. So, for the total work done, you can go integration of dW is equal to integration of minus P internal minus dP dV, or you can say integration of minus P internal dV, okay, plus dP dV, and this term can be neglected because dP and dV are very small. We are considering for the reversal process, any change is infinitesimally small. So, because the dP is infinitesimally small, dV is also infinitesimally small, so we can neglect the dP dV here. So, what we will get? Okay, neglecting dP dV for a reversal process, we get what? Integration of dW is equal to integration of minus P int dP. Okay. Or this internal pressure we can take what as a P. So, integration of dW is equal to integration of minus P dV. Okay. Or W equal what integration of minus P dV. Minus integration of what P dV. Okay. Now, see, for an ideal gas, we have P equal to nRT, therefore, P equal to N by V RT. P equal to what? N by V RT. So, W is equal to minus integration of 1 by V P equal to N by V RT. तो इंटीग्रेशन आपको P इक्वल टू N by V RT dV और W इज इक्वल टू माइनस NRT इंटीग्रेशन आपको 1 by V dV. ओके. Okay, so W equal to minus nRT. Now integration of 1 by x dx equal to what ln x. Get what ln V. V onto V2 you can say V1 to V2, you can say V1 to V2, V1 to V2. Okay. Ln V what? V1 to V2. So we have what? Integration of 1 by x dx is equal to what? Ln x. Clear? So W is equal to minus nRT ln V2 minus ln V1, or W is equal to minus nRT ln V2 by V1, because ln m minus ln n is equal to ln m by n. Okay. Or we can write W equal to minus 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1. Why? Because ln x is equal to 2.303 log x. So log is one function, ln is another function. Okay, and ln x equal to 2.303 log x. Okay, so W equal to minus 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1. Now see, here we have P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. Okay. Therefore, P1 by P2 equal to V2 by V1. Okay. This you can say, take the question. So therefore, W equal to here V2 by V1 equal to what? P1 by P2. We can write what? W equal to minus 2.03 nRT log P1 by P2. So this equation 1 and 2 are the expression for the work done in isothermal reversible expansion of an ideal gas. Okay, reversible expansion of an gas, ideal gas. Okay, so we can get W equal to minus 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1, or minus 2.303 nRT log P1 by P2 is the work done for the isothermal reversible expansion of an ideal gas. Okay. Now, your internal energy. Okay. Next, we will go for what? Internal energy. Internal energy U. So what is internal energy? Internal energy of a system is the total energy stored in a system at a constant volume. We know whenever we are considering a thermodynamic system that consists of a large number of molecules, and several kind of energies are there in a system containing a large number of molecules. Because in the molecules we are having atoms, that atoms having electrons, we have protons, neutrons. That means we are having the nuclear energy, we are having the electronic energy, we are having the translational kinetic energy, we are having the vibrational kinetic energy, we are having the rotational kinetic energy. So different kind of kinetic energies are present there in the molecules. And again we have the nuclear energy, we have the chemical energy and many more. And sum total of all these energy correspond to what? Internal energy. And because the internal energy involves such a large number of different kind of energies, it's not possible to calculate the absolute value of the internal energy. However, we can calculate the small change in internal energy. It depends upon the initial and final state of the system. So, internal energy is a state function. And again, this internal energy depends upon the quantity of the matter contained in the system. Hence, it is an extensive property. Okay, so what you can say, internal energy is an extensive property and it is a state function. Its absolute value we cannot determine. However, if U1 is the internal energy of a system at a particular state and this is changed to U2 at another state, then the change in internal energy, okay, delta U is equal to what? U2 minus U1 is equal to integration of d of U, U1 to U2. Okay. So, this is the internal energy at initial state, this is the final state. Okay. Now, the U2 minus U1 will give you what? The change in internal energy. So, actually we are calculating the change in internal energy delta U. And also this we can take as your QV. Okay, that is what is the heat content of system at the constant volume. Okay. Now, if for a reaction, U R is the internal energy of the reactants, internal energy of reactants, UP is what? Internal energy of products, then delta U is equal to what? UP minus UR, UP minus UR. Okay. If UP is more than UR, then delta U is positive. If UP is less than UR, that means internal energy of the products are less than the reactant, so then delta U is a negative. Okay. So, this is about what internal energy. In the next class, we will discuss about first law of thermodynamics. Okay. And also the first law of thermodynamics and internal energy relationship. And we will also solve some numerical basing on this today's class and again on the next class. Okay. Thank you.